First, we will see, we'll start from the scratch. I'll tell you how to create the data set. I'm going to take a program, what I have taught you in the class. We have seen this particular example for the finders algorithm. This is a very famous example. We want to find out whether a person will enjoy a sport or not, given certain parameters. So in this, this is the data set given to us. The data set is going to have two different things. One is called as features and the another one is called as the target class. So first of all, only the data set will be given to you. You have to separate the features and target class. We will see how to separate the features in this class. So first of all, we are going to create this data set from the scratch. So now let me tell you how to create the data set. You can create the data set either as an Excel file or as a CSV file. It is up to you. I'll tell you how to create the data set as a CSV file and then how to upload it, then how to proceed with the finders algorithm. And remember that a finders algorithm is going to check only for the positive examples. Positive example is nothing but wherever in the target column you have S, that is positive example. So in this case, we have 3 positive examples and 1 negative example. So first you create the Excel sheet, open an Excel sheet. After that, this is a data set given to us. You are going to type this data set only. You don't type the examples because examples are nothing but they are going to identify only the records. That is the instances. There is no use in the particular column example. So what you are going to type in the data set is starting from sky, air temperature, humidity, wind, water, and so on till enjoy sport. You have to type all the 7 columns along with the associated records you are going to type. So I have opened an Excel sheet. In the Excel sheet, I am going to type only the data set. If you see the first row is my heading. For every column, we have the feature name. That is the heading name. That is the first row. And then other than that, we have 4 rows. And these 4 rows are our instances of our data set. You type whatever is given to you. Once you do that, you have to save the file. So go to File, Save. And wherever you want, you can save it. Let me save it in my desktop. In this, you have to, when you are saving, you see here, you are now going to save a CSV file. CSV stands for comma separated value. When you go to save, you will see here CSV comma delimited. You can give that as a file name. Whatever name you want for the data set, you can give it, then save. Okay, so this is how first you are going to create a CSV file from the data given to you. Now we are going to proceed with this particular CSV file. Let me tell you how to proceed with this example. You can do either in Anaconda or otherwise in Colab. I always prefer Colab only because wherever you go, you will be able to get the file since it is stored in your drive. So now I am going to import the necessary packages for this. And you import pandas as PD and then NumPy as NP. Then run the cell. Now we need to import the data from our data set. Our data set is available in the CSV format. So you are going to call the function pd.readCSV. And before that, you have to upload your data set. Let me remove this. I'll upload the data set. So to upload the data set, click this upload to session storage, this particular icon. After that, wherever you have your data set, you can upload it. I'm selecting the data set. And after you upload the data set, click the 3 buttons here and you can copy the path. Okay, and that path you can give inside this read CSV function. So give that path. Okay, so now with the help of the read CSV function, I am going to open my CSV file. And after you open it, just display the data frame. I have created the CSV file. I have uploaded it with the help of pandas read CSV function. I am reading the contents of the CSV file and I am creating a data frame. You know what is the meaning of data frame? Pandas is going to work everything on data frames only. Then I am displaying the data frame. If you see here, we have totally created 7 columns with the 4 rows. So all these 7 columns with 4 rows are displayed along with the index. The pandas will automatically supply the index, but we don't want the index. We are not going to work on it. It is simply for accessing and identifying the different instances. So now all the data are displayed in a data frame. Now next, just find out what is the shape of this data frame. If you write df.shape, it is going to give you 2 parameters because it is a 2-dimensional data frame. It will tell you how many rows and how many columns are there in your data frame. We have totally 4 rows and then 7 columns. Now, your data set contains the features along with our output target class. Now, what is our aim is we have to separate the features and then target class. For that, you might have studied this slicing in Python. It is nothing but slicing only. So what is the meaning of the slicing? Here, this is the array. It is I am going to convert this data frame into an array because I am going to do the slicing operation. So to convert the data frame into array, we need NP. NP stands for the NumPy. Okay, so we need NumPy because NumPy is going to work on multidimensional arrays. So I am going to call the function np.array. For that, I am going to pass the data frame, whatever I have created here. So df is the data frame, pass it to the array. Now, I want to extract the features separately. So what are the features I have? If you see this, my features are nothing but sky, air temperature, humidity, wind, water, and forecast. Only these 6 are the features. So which column I don't want is the last column I don't want in the features. I want to completely eliminate the last column. And what about the rows? There are totally 5 rows. You want all the 5 rows. So our aim is I want to extract the features alone from the data set which I have uploaded. For that, I need to remove only the last column with all the corresponding rows in the last column. Entire last column I want to remove. The remaining 6 columns I want to keep along with all the rows. For that, I am going to do the slicing. So in the slicing, you will be passing two details now. One is the row followed by column. The first is the row followed by second is the column. Now, you have to tell how many rows you want from the data set, that is the data frame, how many rows you want in the features matrix. I want all the rows. So I am giving the first detail as simply colon. Okay, it will extract all the rows. Then you have to tell the second parameter as how many columns you want. So in the slicing, I want all the columns other than the last column. If you know that you have 5 columns, you can clearly give it. But in sometimes we don't want to take that risk. We want to say that you just remove the last column, keep all the remaining columns irrespective of the count, whether it is 20 columns or 100 columns, you keep everything. So for that, we have to specify -1. You know what is the meaning of -1 in Python with respect to indexing? Whenever you want to access the last row or last column, you will be meaning that as -1. So here the last column is enjoy sports. I don't want this. I want to remove this. Okay. So I'm going to specify -1. So what this will do is it will extract all the rows. Okay. And with respect to the column, it will extract all the columns other than the last column. So I'm going to extract it. Then I'm going to store it in a 2D array because I have converted this into array called features. So now let me display that. If you run this, you will be getting this one. Just to focus on what I got in this. So totally we had here 7 columns, but now in the final output, that is in the features array, we have only 6 columns. The reason is the last column we didn't extract. But what about the number of rows? I have 4 rows here. All the 4 rows have been extracted. Now let me change here something. Any one of you tell me what is going to happen in this? Can anyone tell me what will be the output of this particular function call?
It will take only from 0 to 2.
From 0 to 2 rows, ma'am, and from sky to water column.
Yeah, 0 to 2 rows. That is 0, 1, and 2 because I am removing the last row from this. And what about the column is I am removing last 2 columns. So it will not have forecast and then enjoy sport. Let me run this so that you will understand clearly. You can see this now. We have only 3 rows and then in the columns, we have only 5 columns. Okay. But now for us, we want all the rows. So I'm going to give this and other than the last column, we want everything in the features. Let me run it again. Okay. So now I think you understood how to extract only the features from the data set. And once you have done this, you can check whether it is correct. Just to display features.shape, it is going to tell you that you have 4 rows and then totally 6 columns in your features array. So now we have extracted the features. Similarly, we want to extract our target class. So which is our target classes? That is the output column. Here, the target class is nothing but enjoy sport. I want only this in another array. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to next extract only the target class. Okay, just this is only to understand, no need for this. Simply for understanding I have written. Okay. Now let us see how to extract the target class. To extract the target class, again, I am going to call np.array because I am going to convert that into array. Where is my input available? It is in the data frame. So I have to give that as the input to this np.array function. So df I am passing as input. Now, what I want to do, which columns I have to extract? If you see, I want to extract only the last column. In the last column, I want all the rows. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want all the rows. So I am giving simply colon. I want only the last column. In the previous case, if you have seen here, I want everything other than the last column. So I have given colon -1. But here I want only the last column. So I'm going to give -1. If you do this, it will extract only the last column with all the rows in that. And that will be stored in a array.target. If you see here, it has extracted only the last column. We have S, S, no, and S in the last column. All the 4 rows have been extracted and they are displayed. Now we want to find what is the shape of that. If you execute target.shape, you will be getting the shape. It is now 4, null. The meaning is it is a 1D array. If it is a 2D array, you will be getting 2 dimensions. Here it is 1D array because I have extracted only the column. It is a vector now. So I have 4, null. Now we have separated our data set into 2 things. One is the features and the second one is the target class. Next, we are going to start our finders algorithm. So in finders algorithm, what we are going to do is we are going to consider only the positive examples. With the help of that, we are going to generate our rules. So now let us see how to proceed with that. You can see I have given enumerate, the use of enumerate. So the use of enumerators, many times we want to deal with iterators. You know what is the meaning of iterator? Iterator is nothing but if I have an array, I want to iterate to all the elements in the array one by one. So for that, whenever you want to deal with the iterator, we need to keep track of the count, otherwise index variable you can say, either the index variable or otherwise counter. In order to implement that, we have enumerate. Okay, and this enumerate will be automatically adding a counter to the iteratable object, and then it will return the object to us in the form of an enumerate object. Now here you can see the example. This is from Geeks for Geeks only. Okay, so here you can see I have L1. L1 is nothing but list of 3 strings: eat, sleep, and then repeat. Then I am giving for ELE in enumerate of L1, print ELE. When you do this, actually, we have only eat, sleep, and repeat in the list. But when you enumerate over the objects directly, what is going to happen is the output will be printed like 0 eat, 1 sleep, 2 repeat. So how you got the 0, 1, and 2? We didn't supply anything. But here it is an iteratable object. Iteratable object means you have collection of elements. From one element, after finishing it, you can go to the next element. You can iterate over all the elements till you reach the end. That is the iteratable object. Generally for arrays, tuples, and other things, we'll be doing this. Okay. Now what is going to happen is this is going to return 2 things. One is the count, or otherwise you can call as index. Okay. For the first one, it is 0. Along with the object, it is returning 0, eat. Then sleep is in the index 1. So 1, sleep. Then 2, repeat. Okay. This is the use of the enumerate function. So I am going to now call that enumerate here. So now let us understand what I'm doing here. Enumerate of target. What I have in the target? Target is nothing but I have only the last column in the target. If you see here, this is my target. I have S, S, no S. So it is going to enumerate over the list of all the items available in the target. And then here I have now 2 things for I, val in enumerate of target. The meaning is in the previous thing I have told you, when you enumerate, you are getting 2 things. One is the index, another is the variable, whatever you have. Okay. Now for that, for the index, I am giving I. Then for the variable I am giving val. So for I, val in enumerate of target, what I'm going to do is I am going to check if val is equal to yes. So why I am checking this? Because the finders algorithm is going to accept only the positive examples. So I have to check whether the particular example I am considering is positive. So to identify a positive example, if that value is equal to yes, it is a positive example. Okay. If it is positive example, what I have to do? I have to first simply copy all the features in that example and store it in a hypothesis. Our aim is we want to develop the hypothesis. which is the maximally specific hypothesis. In the finders algorithm, you will get only one hypothesis as the output. Okay, that hypothesis is going to match with all the examples you have considered. So I am going to create the hypothesis now. First, I have considered the positive example. This is the first positive example. Definitely, when you start the finders algorithm, initially you will be starting with all as null. Okay, here automatically, if you don't give any value, everything will be treated as null only. So I'm not giving null specifically. Now I am checking whether the value is equal to yes in the target class. If so, I am copying all the features in my hypothesis. So if you see this, if value is equal to yes, I am copying the features. Features is a 2D array. You have to tell which row you want to copy in the features. So I am giving now features I of I dot copy. For this only, I want this I. Otherwise, I don't know which row I have to copy. Okay, so I am giving now features I dot copy that I am storing in hypothesis. Then I am giving break. Why I am giving break is now I got one hypothesis, that is the first hypothesis, which is having the target class as is. Okay, so I have stored that in the hypothesis. Now my job is over. I will come outside the for loop. Okay, so here what I am doing is, if you have combination of yes and no in your target class, whichever is the first yes, simply copy those features and store it in your hypothesis. Okay, so that is the thing I am doing. I am checking whether val is equal to yes. Val is nothing but the target. Okay, so if you see here, this is our target. Okay, this is our target. In the target, if val is equal to yes, what I'm doing is I have stored all these things in the features. This particular row I am copying and then storing it in the hypothesis. So when I come, if you see, the first row is having S. So when I get S, all these features I am going to copy in the hypothesis. So my hypothesis will be now sunny, warm, normal, strong, warm, same. Now let us run that and check whether it is correct. So I'm going to run this now. Okay, I didn't print it. Let me print the hypothesis also. Okay, otherwise I will add a new row. So I am now printing my hypothesis. So you can see here it is now sunny, warm, normal, strong, warm, same. This is nothing but the first row, features in the first row. Why it is the features in the first row is, the first row is having target classes yes. If the first row is having the target classes no, then it will go to the second row and it will check whether the target class is yes. Yes, in that case it is yes, therefore this will be printed. Okay, first time in the hypothesis I am storing wherever I have the target class as yes, all the features I am storing in the hypothesis. So now I have done this, so I have printed the hypothesis. So what is done up to this particular step is, I have considered only the first target class, whichever is having yes, I have extracted all the features of that and I have stored it in the hypothesis. Now, in the finders algorithm, we have seen that you have to consider all the positive examples in your target class. Okay, and you have to refine your hypothesis. Now, what this hypothesis says, if in the first feature you have sunny, in the second feature you have warm, in the third feature you have normal, and fourth is strong, fifth is warm, sixth is same, then the person will enjoy the sport. This is a thing we have learned only after seeing the first record with the target classes yes. We have to see all the instances and we have to refine our hypothesis. Okay, in case of finders algorithm, first we'll start with the general specific hypothesis, then we will move on to general hypothesis. So general hypothesis means we will be adding question marks wherever we don't have a match. Okay, that is the thing we are going to do. Now let us see how to do that. Hope you remember the algorithm. Thinking that in mind, I am proceeding. So now this is a specific hypothesis we have developed only after considering the first record, which is having S in the target class. Now we are going to consider the generalization of this particular hypothesis. So for that, what I have to do is I have to consider all the features in my data set. Okay, and in whichever target I have S, okay, my aim is I have to consider only the positive examples. So how to identify the positive example now? If target I is equal to yes. First, let us understand from where I got this I. Now, I am going to take all the features one by one. I am going to enumerate over that. Okay. So enumerate of features. Features is a 2D array now, which contains all our features. So enumerate over the features. Okay. Whatever feature I am getting, I am storing that in val, and the corresponding index, I am storing it in I. Okay. Then I am going to take if target of I is equal to yes. It means that that particular example is a positive example. So what you have to do for the positive example? You have one example. Now we have developed this as our specific hypothesis. Now let us consider the second example. What is the second example here? You see here, second example is sunny, warm, high, strong, warm, same. What we will do now is, after the execution, this is my hypothesis. Okay. Now I have to compare whether this sunny is covered in the hypothesis. Yes, it is covered. So I will leave as such. Then I will check whether warm is covered in this hypothesis. Yes, it is covered. Then what about high? Here high you have, but in the general hypothesis you have developed now, you have only normal. That means the hypothesis is not going to consider this high. So you have to change that normal to question mark. Why I'm changing to question mark is, according to my first example, it has learned that for the third feature, if it is normal, then the person is going to like the sport. But from the second example, I am learning that the person is also going to enjoy the sport if the third feature is high. So instead of keeping as normal, we want to now generalize it. So I'm going to change that to question mark. Okay. Then I will compare this strong and strong. It is covered. So leave it as such. Warm and warm covered, leave it as such. Same and same covered, leave it as such. Okay. So this is the thing I am going to do now. So what I'm doing now is, I'm going to enumerate over the features. Okay. I'm going to extract it and store it in val, and then the corresponding index is available in I. Then I am checking whether this is a positive example. So for that only, I am checking if target I is equal to yes. Target is nothing but the last column we have extracted and stored it in the target. I am checking whether that is equal to yes. That means it is a positive sample. Now, what you have to do for the positive sample? You have to change your hypothesis. So for changing the hypothesis, the entire hypothesis you have to check. Just now I told you, I have taken the hypothesis, I have compared all the features one by one. So you want to check all the features in the hypothesis. So we don't know how many features are there. So I'm going to now write for X in range of len of hypothesis. This is the hypothesis we have printed. Len of hypothesis is nothing but length of the array, that is nothing but 6. Okay, so for I in range of len of hypothesis, that means I'm going to consider, I'm going to run this for loop totally 6 times. So what I'm going to consider, I am going to take the first value in the hypothesis. The first value in the hypothesis is now sunny. Okay, so take sunny and compare this sunny with this second record value. Okay, this value you have to compare. Okay, sunny and sunny I am going to compare. So what I am doing now, I am taking now for X in range of len of hypothesis, I am checking if value of X is not is equal to hypothesis of X. So what is the meaning? In my hypothesis, I have sunny, whereas in the sample I have considered currently, I have warm. So in that case, I have to change it. What I have to change? It should be changed to question mark. Okay. So if the values are not equal, then I have to generalize. So I am going to change the hypothesis as now question mark, because previously it has some specific value. Now it is going to consider accept one more value for that particular attribute. So I am going to change it. Okay. So do this for all the features you have. And once you do that, finally, you will have your general hypothesis. You can print that hypothesis. Let me run this one. So when I print the hypothesis, I am getting sunny, warm, question mark, strong, question mark, question mark. Let me show you the output we got when we run this particular example. This is the example we have seen in the last class. So in the example, finally, I told you that in the last hypothesis, H4, you have sunny, warm, question mark, strong, 2 question marks. Okay, so that is the thing we have here. Okay, so this is how the finders algorithm works.